Thanks for joining the Life's Better podcast, where we say life is so much better with God, community, and purpose. If we haven't met, my name is Jonathan Gleason. This is Josh Doolin.
Hey.
And we're going to be really focusing on moms today, because by the time this is actually aired, it's just going to be a couple of days before Mother's Day.
So this is your warning in case you haven't bought anything yet, because I feel like it always sneaks up on me.
Yeah, no, birthdays, even normal holidays sneak up on me. How can Christmas sneak up on somebody, but I feel like it does almost every single year. So what we're going to be doing is sharing with you kind of like the top 10 things that all moms want to hear from their kids. But before we do that, we're going to do a little game. And the game is Do You Know Your Mom? So Josh, do you think you know your mom?
Knowing the questions, I don't know if I know my mom.
Okay,
I'm going to try. Hopefully I do.
So,
I'm sorry if I don't.
So you've been in contact with my mom. I've been in contact with your mom. We know some answers. We'll see if, it actually works that you know your mom. I know some answers. We'll find out.
Yeah.
What is your mom's full name? That's the first question.
Yeah, so my mom's full name is Tammy Jo Doolin.
And do you remember her maiden name?
Oh, gosh. I don't know if I know her maiden name. It's Tammy Jo.
Starts with a P.
I don't know. I don't know it.
Okay, according to your mom, it's Peterson.
Peterson. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I should know that, but yeah.
You know what? Your mom added the maiden name. I never would have asked you that, but she added. I was like, you know what? That's a good one. So my mom's full name is Glenda Ray Gleason, and her maiden name is Ginther.
You got it.
Is that right?
You got it exactly right.
Cool.
Well done. Cool. And she put both as well.
Did she?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I think
moms
our moms just
us.
want to throw us off a little bit with this game. All right, so the second question is, what's your favorite food?
Okay, so my mom's favorite food at one time was Chinese food, but honestly, my mom, she may have one of those silly answers like, I like everything, and that's my problem, something like that. So I don't know.
Your second answer was way more on the spot. You ready for this?
Yeah.
It says, oh man, ... I love eating and am needing to go back on a vegetarian diet. Probably because my favorite foods are pizza, tacos, hamburgers, potato salad, chips with flavors on them, etc.
Wow,
so I thought
Chinese food didn't even make it.
It didn't, but you did say she might have just said everything, which I feel like that was a lot of things.
Okay, so that one will give me a point unless it comes down to real close stuff, and then we'll say maybe it was a half a point.
Okay, so from
your mom's favorite food.
So this is another scenario where I know my mom likes a lot of different kinds of food. I would dare say my mom's favorite is, she loves Mexican food. So okay. I'm gonna go Mexican food as my answer. But there's a lot of different things that she likes.
So I'm sure Mexican food, there's a good version of this, but she just said steak.
That was my second thing.
Is that right?
Yeah, she loves a good steakhouse.
I think your dad might have had steak on his list when we did a similar game for Father's Day.
I think so.
Your dad had like 5, actually, I remember. But mom likes steak.
It's funny because my sister's favorite food is steak. My favorite food is not steak, but yeah, my whole family, we're big steak eaters.
Is yours Mexican food, though?
I do love Mexican food.
Is that number 1? Okay.
Tacos. All right. Tacos are the best.
Number 3, this is not a game of do you know your colleague, so I should stop asking you questions. But here we go. Number 3, what is your mom's date of birth?
Date of birth is January 28th. Good. I almost gave you my wife's birthday. They're both very close.
Okay.
28th, 1971.
Nailed it.
Got it.
Nailed it. I'm not 100% sure on my mom's. I know for sure it's May 16th.
You got it.
When it comes to the year,
You gotta be careful here. You might insult your mom.
So here's the thing. I feel a little like I cheated on this one a little bit in the sense that I kept telling myself, don't think about it, don't think about it. Like just try to remember on the spot. But my mind just kept naturally going to it. And so I think it's 1955.
You got it.
Okay.
Well done.
I feel like I kind of cheated on that one, but I'll take the point.
Nah, it's fine. You can do math. Math is power. All right. Number 4. Oh wait, I was about to read you her answer. Whoops.
That's not
Number 4. Growing up, what did you think you wanted to do for a living?
Yeah, I'm gonna lose a point on this one, I'm sure, but I think my answer is probably more accurate than whatever my mom put down.
Really? Okay.
And
You think you know your mom better than your mom knows herself?
so maybe.
Okay.
I think the answer is everything. So, and the reason why is, honestly, I can't tell you how many times like she has made some little comment or told some story about, oh, I wanted to do this, or oh, it would have been, you know, great if I did that. And then on top of that, when it came to even choosing a career for myself or, you know, my siblings, she was always throwing out like 101 ideas, almost to the sense of like she wants to live vicariously through us because she's got all these plans and all these ideas, and wouldn't it be great to do this and that and that. So I'm gonna go with everything. I'm sure I'm gonna lose a point on that one.
So she did not say everything, but she did say that she felt like she was meant to teach children.
Okay.
And she also said that when she was in junior high, she felt like God was calling her to be a missionary.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't get a point on that one, but that's cool.
So mine, I don't know if I probably asked my mom this when I was very little, but I don't remember paying attention to the answer that she gave me, which is unfortunate. I know every job that she had, which might give me a little bit of a clue. But I think I'm gonna go with like an answer that I believe, just based off of knowing who she is and what she enjoys. I think that she just really wanted to have a good family and be a good mom.
Okay. Yeah. That's not what she put.
Okay.
But that's still a good answer.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some truth in there. She said to actually be a teacher.
Okay.
And
Well,
sure enough, she is a
She
teacher, and she made the comment how it took 30 years to get there, but that's what she wanted to do when she was younger.
She was a travel agent for a really long time, and she worked at like airports and stuff, like did that for a really long time. And then once Allie and I, when they wanted to send us to Christian school and it was a little more expensive, she took the job there, but it was pay cut. I probably should have guessed that because like you did take a pay cut to do what you love. So yeah. that makes sense.
Oh, that works. Yeah. All right. You didn't get a point on that one, though.
I did not get a point on that. I don't think I've gotten 1 point.
I think you got 1 point.
Oh, it was for knowing her.
No, you got 2 then. You got 2. Sorry. Well, I guess you got 2 if you weren't going to
full name.
The full name.
Yeah,
you got at least a half a point.
It's
on
her
that
full
one.
name right now.
That's true. Might as well give you the point then. What high school sports or extracurricular activities did your mom do in high school?
This is tough. I'm sorry, Mom. I wish I paid attention more when you gave these. I know where she went to school. I don't know. I'm gonna say she just hung out with friends. She wasn't a part of any teams.
You got a point on that one.
Did I really?
Yes. Now, there may have been an extracurricular in there or two, but she did specifically say, she said no athletics. She said, I'm just not athletic, so I never did any athletics. So there may have been something else, but she said none.
She didn't say anything?
She said none.
Thank you. I'm so glad. Maybe I did pay attention. She was like, I didn't really play anything.
It's hard to remember something that didn't happen, so you're good. I know for certain that my mom was in the band. I think she was one of those really cool band members who played the tuba. So that's the only extracurricular that I'm aware of. There may have been others. I know she enjoyed sports, but that's the only one that's coming to my mind.
She gave me a pretty long answer.
Oh my goodness.
But she didn't say any in high school. So I think you got that right. You also mentioned band, which she said she played for a summer and also for a year, like 1 year, doing games and stuff. Okay. So she didn't do it very long. But then
I've seen yearbook pictures.
Okay.
So I know it happened. I remember seeing, I think, at least a couple pictures, like different yearbooks. So.
Well, she mentioned all of them after that involved stuff with her church and just helping out at church.
Oh, yeah. You know, I was even framing the question when it came to like high school, the actual school itself. But yes, extracurricular would definitely include church. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, okay.
Like you were hanging out with friends.
Yeah, exactly. Number 6, how many boyfriends did you have before meeting your husband?
So I remember my mom telling some stories, but I don't know, parents just don't really like telling stories. I don't remember a whole lot, and it's probably a good thing because I wouldn't want to hear. hear it. So maybe Josh has heard it now. I think the answer, if it came to like serious boyfriend before my dad, I would say none. I don't think any of them were really serious. I know there were some dudes that were chasing her, and so whether or not she, allowed them to pursue her or not, I'm not really sure. I want to say if we're just talking like, hey, you liked me, yeah, I kind of like you. I don't know, 2, but no serious. We'll see.
I really want to meet your mom in person. I love her answers.
What did she say?
She said, "Well, I liked all the boys in the youth group as well as a family friend, but I never had a boyfriend until I met my husband."
Okay,
So I think you got it. She said he's the one who asked me on a date, and I've been dating him ever since.
Yes, and I think he was 55 at the time, and she was 12. So creepy as well.
Come on, Bob.
There it is. All right, what about your mom?
Oh, man. Okay. So I know only about one, mainly because the story goes that my dad says it all the time, he threw it away to go date somebody else, and he showed up with flowers that day. And they started dating shortly after, like the day that
So the
she broke up with
day
him.
that your mom broke up with some dude, your dad showed up with flowers saying, "Rebound, how about a rebound?"
Yeah, I don't think that was his plan.
Okay.
At least that's like what he says. But he said he went to like a flower shop on his way, and he told him what he was doing, and they just loaded him up with flowers. And he showed up with a bouquet that was so hard to see behind that, like,
She
they
thought it
didn't
was
even
like
realize
that
who it
guy
was.
coming back.
But I'm gonna say one serious one, and I don't know about any other ones.
I don't know anything about the serious. All I know is the answer was 2.
2.
sorry, man.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry.
Well, maybe I don't need to know about those. Anyway.
Good call. All right, how did your mom come to Christ?
This is another tough one for me because I know it's weird how like our whole lives, our parents, I'm talking about me and my sister, have focused really hard on us like coming to know Jesus, and I've heard bits and pieces of their testimony.
Yeah.
But I also know that my grandmother, like, she's believed for a really long time.
Grandmother on mom's side, dad's side? Okay.
Mom's side. And so, in my mind, I think I recall like she was young, and she came to know Christ then, but I can't remember.
Like as a kid?
Yeah, as a kid. But I also know that like her and my dad like went through kind of a renewal of their faith, so to speak, when they were married. But I can't speak to exact dates.
So this is going to blow your mind.
Okay.
It wasn't until she was 24 years old.
Okay.
A new mother. She really didn't know a whole lot about Christ, except she had an aunt that would read her Bible stories when she would spend the night with her.
Yeah.
And so there was a rough understanding kind of about spiritual things, but it wasn't until, connecting really with your dad and his family who were very involved in the church, and the pastor came over at one point when she was 24, walked her through some of the gospel message, told an illustration that resonated with her in the sense that, if she got pulled over for driving 90 in a 45, it would be like Jesus, said, hey, you know what? I'm going to pay that penalty for you. And then the recognition, hey, wait, he did that to a much more massive extent with the cross and my sins, and realized she didn't want to live eternity without God or without family, and so she gave her life to Christ.
Cool, Mom.
Yeah.
I love that.
When it comes to my mom coming to faith in Christ, I definitely know that her folks were very involved in the church, avid followers of Christ, and she heard the gospel message at a very young age. I believe accepted Christ at a pretty young age, and was baptized in her church.
So
Some of the details I don't know for sure, but that's the gist.
So basically, she didn't give me an exact like time frame, but she did say, I grew up knowing about God. In fact, she said, I knew Jesus probably while in my mom's womb, but
she's a really smart lady. I mean,
really?
Oh yeah, I mean, a child. I'm sure she was talking as soon as she entered this world and knew all about who God was.
But she talked about like how she realized when a pastor was preaching how like we were separated from God because of our sin. She became aware of her sin and all of that stuff when she was very young. So yeah, gave her life to Christ pretty young, and she has a full testimony that I'll let you read at some point.
Okay,
that's cool.
Sounds good. All right, I think mine is the next question. No, it's yours.
It's mine. What's something you always wanted to do but didn't?
Okay. The one I was going to go with is one that she sort of shared when it came to the career. I've heard multiple times that if she hadn't gotten married, had kids, and gone down the road that she went, that she probably would have gone into the mission field or on the mission field. She mentioned that a little bit when it came to the career. Yeah, it's true. And I would say, you know, just like you, Josh, you recognize that your mission field may not be a foreign country, but you're still a missionary. And I certainly is the case with my mom. So that's what I was going to go with. I was going to go with missionary.
So that's a good answer. It's not what she put. She said that she's always wanted to write a book. And she actually said that she's still thinking on that. And it's probably because of all of the lessons God's helped her like learn over her many years of being on Earth. And she would still like to write a book.
Cool.
So,
well,
yeah,
like Josh said,
I would read it.
He lies. He lies.
Especially if you have embarrassing stories about Jonathan in it. I would love that.
Yeah, I think we'd all read that. Maybe I wouldn't. What about your
mom? Mom just kind of like lives her life like as the type of person that doesn't have regrets.
Okay.
What would she do differently? This is gonna be like a really serious answer. This is going to be a really serious answer, and I'm sorry if you didn't want me to share any of this type of backstory, but her relationship with her dad has been strained like my entire life. And it's really on him, and a lot of stuff that he's done to push her away and my grandma away were just awful. And I really think, I know that you've lived with like this sort of regret of things, and I don't blame you at all for how like our relationship has been with him, but I think that you wish that maybe that would be different. I don't know. I think that would be her answer if it was a serious one, but I'm wondering if that's not the route that she took.
So your mom went really, really serious and said that she really has always wanted to go to Australia.
We need to go to Australia. That sounds awesome. We could go to New Zealand and walk the path to Mordor.
Man, and, take Davis along with you.
Yeah, is he all about that?
All about it, yes. Okay, Josh, what is your mom's fondest memory of you? Oh, man. There's two here, so even if you throw out one, we're going to give you a point, man.
Okay. Maybe when I know this is like really meant a lot to her, when I helped my grandparents on my dad's side, they when they were at their 50th anniversary had what is that called when you're married but you have like a marriage thing?
Yeah, kind of like I want to say rededication marriage, but that is not what it is. That's not what it is. I know what you're talking about.
Like a renewal of vows.
Yes.
And I know that meant a lot to her to see and like all of that stuff. Is that one of them?
It's not. So fondest memory.
I'm sorry, Mom.
Fondest memory of you was when you would spend hours and hours and hours setting up your cars all around your room. She really enjoyed that, I guess. And she also talked about how she really, one of her fondest memories is how passionate you have always been to win. Now, she may have shared some stories about you being a sore loser at times, which may not have been her fondest memories, but she threw those in there. We won't share those, though. We won't share those.
It's a passion. Okay, cool.
So, fondest memory that my mom might have of me, I'm going to go with the day that her and my dad baptized me. No?
No.
Okay.
So I kind of want to read this one, if that's okay.
How long is it?
It's okay. It's not that long. It's not that long.
What do you got?
She said, there are many, but I'll share this one. I was home alone one night until Jonathan arrived home. I'd gone to bed and was reading when he came in. He wasn't wanting to do anything, especially he wasn't ready for bed. So he came in and sat on the other side of the bed. He visited a little, but didn't have a lot to share, but both still wanted to be together. I asked if he had any interest in reading with me from the Bible. He said yes, so he put his head on Dad's pillow and read the first chapter of Jonah. I read the second, he the third, and me the last chapter. It was a very close time to share with my son and God.
So I have a really, really good memory. I pride myself on my memory.
Do you
I
not
have
remember
no
that?
memory. I have no memory of that. I'm sorry that was
It
one of
sounds
your
like you were
fondest.
very, very young, though.
I just don't remember it. There's been plenty of times that, like, we would read together, and that's probably one of the reasons why I love being read too. But yeah, I don't remember it. Sorry.
You're still doing that with
Love
Dana
it.
and stuff.
It's like one of my favorite things to do.
Maybe that was a key moment in your life. You just didn't realize
For
it.
sure, for sure.
All right. So number 10. What was most challenging about raising your son?
So challenging. I think I've been challenging, and probably most challenges came when I just wanted to be argumentative and fight and argue.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
She said that it's when you were challenging their values.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So like it was just like
Oh, maybe arguments like about like, no, that's lame.
so something about if our values were actually the idea that their values were a personal preference. Do you
Gosh.
remember that at all? No?
No. I mean,
Okay.
what they value most is the gospel, and I don't know if I ever really questioned the gospel. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Arguments.
What about
is the
you?
thing.
What do you think your mom found the most challenging?
It probably is something similar because I think with that longing to win, I think I got that from her.
Okay.
And so we definitely butted heads at times, and Dad was the peacemaker, but like obviously we always still loved each other and stuff. So I'm gonna say my competitiveness / arguments. Yeah.
So, there's two.
Okay.
She says you never you broke rules, and there's one main rule that you broke.
Okay.
When you started driving, there was one rule. When you arrived at your destination, what were you supposed to do?
Oh, text my mom.
You were supposed to text your mom. She said you never did, and
Yeah.
that was hard for her.
Yeah.
Second,
If it makes you feel any better, people have been telling me ever since that I'm really bad at texting them.
second was you just constantly lost your keys.
Yeah.
There was a season in your life where everyone you knew actually had a set of your keys.
Yep.
So that they could help you. So,
Yep.
hey, as challenges go, I mean that's pretty low. I think you were a pretty good kid.
I'm surprised as well that being injury prone wasn't one of them because Mom had to take me to the hospital probably more times than the average kid.
That would be hard. Yeah.
I was constantly in the hospital. All right, last one, and I feel like I've gotten basically none.
All right. What's your mom's proudest moment of you?
Ooh,
Most proud.
man, it's probably when I played with cars on the floor. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna say getting married or no, I think. Who does Mom care about more, me coming to the Lord or Emily? I'm gonna say becoming a pastor.
Okay. So you got a point on this one. She said
Okay.
every time he does the Lord's work, and I can't think of like doing the Lord's work even any better than being a pastor.
Sorry, Emily. I was right.
She said this is really sweet. She said that you have had a calling on your life since you were born, and she's honored to get to witness that calling being played out.
You were part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm skipping ahead to the next.
You
part
are,
of it,
you
I'm
are. For me, proudest moment, yeah, probably kind of getting my act together and like not only leading well my own life in Christ, in ministry, but probably my family as well.
sorry. This one's really sweet too. I want to read it. I think seeing where my son is now in his relationship with God, but also his family. I only regret living so far away from his precious family, but I am well pleased with my son. I really always have been. It's just that the more we both grow in the Lord, the better it is.
Yeah, there you go. Once I stopped challenging all their beliefs and whatever it was, values.
Values.
So thanks, Mom, for turning this into Josh.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do now is a little more helpful for the rest of you guys. What we're going to do is going to give you a list of 10 things that all moms want to hear. And we have compiled these from multiple articles, even some conversations. So this is not necessarily just our list, but we're going to put our own little flair to it.
Yeah.
Particularly moving into just the Mother's Day season, we want to challenge you guys to maybe express some of these things to your mom. However, we recognize that there are some of you that your mom has passed on, and this will be very difficult to do. And so what we're challenging you to do is maybe just recognize that God is that perfect parent. You know, he's typically referred to as a father, but at the same time, he has so many qualities that we see in wonderful moms. And so maybe this can be a time of worship that you even have with God, who is always taking care of you like a perfect parent. Yeah. All right, number 1 on the list. What do all moms want to hear? It's 3 words, and you probably already know what they are. I love you. In the English language, there is nothing that enriches our hearts and our souls more than those words, and certainly mom needs to hear it. So you might be thinking it, you might be feeling it, but particularly on Mother's Day, you better express it to your mom in words. That's number 1.
All right, number 2 is I'm sorry. And I mean, we all have mistakes, especially growing up where we rebel against our moms and other people. And they don't expect us to be perfect, but when we admit, I'm sorry, it shows that they've taught us not only how to recognize our mistakes, but to humble ourselves and to come and like repent and I guess try to make amends. And so not only does that show her that you care about her, but you also are showing that she's taught you how to do those things in relationships to come too. So I'm sorry.
All right, number 3 on the list is that smells good, which might sound a little silly, but when moms put so much time and energy into feeding their kids and husband and other guests, when a kid comes in and just expresses, hey mom, that smells good, or that looks good, or they bite into it at the dinner table and say, that tastes good, it just fills mom with a bit of pride and appreciation.
Yeah. Number 4 is you're the best. And it's not like you're trying to, like she's trying to win some super mom, like the best award. But when your kids think that you're special, it's something, it gives her an added bonus, added boost to her day, probably to help her become an even better version of who she is. But when you share you're the best, she knows that you are noticing the things that she does every single day to make you and to sacrifice for you. So let her know that she's the best.
Number 5 on the list, 2 words, thank you, thank you. Here's the thing, moms, I think, are extremely underappreciated. And I think a lot of times moms just think that so many of the efforts that they put into it just aren't being appreciated, aren't being even recognized. And it's probably true. It's probably not being recognized. So when we take the time to actually recognize those small as well as big things that moms have done for us, that really fills them up. So it might be just talking about how thankful you are that you have a mom. You might say, well, you remember when I was in high school and I didn't have my driver's license and you spent so many hours busing me here and there. Thank you for that sacrifice. It might be, you know what, I hated grilled cheese sandwiches until you cut off the crusty edges and man, they're so much better now. Thank you, mom. Or it might even be, thank you for the prayer. I know, mom, you have a huge heart for me and you're always praying for me. Thank you for that. So find some things that maybe you've been taking for granted and thank mom.
To go right along with this one is number 6, and it says, I know you love me. And I think most moms hopefully know that their kids love them, but it's still good to recognize that and to tell them that from time to time. Everybody wants to hear that, but when moms hear it, they know, especially if you're able to convey that in a way that isn't just, hey, I love you, but like an actual, like, I know you love me. I can see it. In these things, kind of like the thank you, they know that the sacrifices that they put in were enough to get you to the point where you felt loved, which is ultimately, I think, I don't know, I'm not a parent, but you can admit, is that like the key goal? Like you want pretty key. So yeah, let them know that you know that they love you.
Yeah. Number 7, I admire you. They want to hear that you admire them. I know having young kids myself, we recognize that kids they just, eat up their mom's attention. Mom, look at me. Mom, look what I can do. Mom, look over here. But one of the things I think we fail to understand is that, moms actually really want their kids' admiration. And so when a mom has a child come in and recognizes and validates their hard work, validates their skill, validates some ability that they have, that can really just lift their spirit. And so it might be as simple as coming in and saying, hey, I really admire how you are always dealing with people, difficult people, like the neighbor who's always, whatever. Or I admire, Mom, how well you communicated at that conference. Or Mom, I admire how, you always just handle yourself with grace and dignity. Find some things that you admire about your mom and express those to her.
This one goes right along with that as well. This is number 8, and it says, "You look great." This can be a weird one. I don't know how often I've actually told my mom, and I'm sorry for this, that you look great, but it can be a nice little boost whenever, moms, you get to see them at all times, not just the face that they've put on for other people to see when they go out of the house. And so when they're, struggling to get through the day because they have to deal with you, and I'm talking mainly to my students right now, let her know that she looks good. It can be a nice little bonus boost to her confidence so that she can get through the day. So yeah, let her know that she looks good.
Yeah. Number 9, I owe you so much. I owe you so much. We owe Mom way more than I think we give Mom credit for. Just on a biological level, your mom grew you from a cell inside her body. Like, you owe your mom so much. Life has come from your mom. On top of that, she puts up with your shenanigans. So you owe her a ton. And I think when we look at our success, typically we walk around and may even have a bit of a chip on our shoulder. Hey, we did this ourselves. No, you didn't. You are a direct result of all the time and energy that Mom and others have placed in your life. And so taking the time to recognize that and maybe even finding a few specifics just to say, hey, I really owe you for this. Whether it was the sacrifice of money, whether it was the sacrifice of time, just communicating I owe you really comes through really well. Last one.
And then the last one, number 10, is that faith is the cornerstone of my life. If you have a mom, share with her how you came to Christ. And more than likely, she's probably involved in it at some point. Most moms that I know, and most even people who are starting a family, because I'm around a lot of my friends are starting that. They're already praying for their kids, for them to come to know the Lord, and for them to know and get to know somebody who is good for them to marry, and all of that stuff. So share that with your mom. She wants to know that Jesus has become important to you because she probably already cares about that and has been praying for you for a long time. And if your mom doesn't know Christ, this can be a really great opportunity to share with her that not only do you know and you want her to know, but you can, if she was a good mom, if she shared love with you, you can directly correlate a relationship with God to how you were shown unconditional love as a kid.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. So here's what we're going to do. Josh and I are going to take a couple of these and we're going to express them to Mom. So Mom, I'm going to start first, Josh. Mom, just want to say I love you. And without a doubt, any success that I've had in life, I think is directly linked to how much time and energy you put in to discipling us as kids, specifically me, who was not always the best student. You put a ton of time and energy into my education, but even just that discipleship training, opening up God's Word almost every single morning, studying that Word, and the success that I even have with my own kids is a product of how you modeled that really well in my life. So love you. Thank you. Really appreciate you.
I want to say I know you love me, and I just want to not only speak to the many sacrifices that you gave for not only me but Allie as well, but I know that you had a lot of things that were tough that you walked through in life, and those had a really heavy impact on you as you grew up, and you desperately wanted Allie and I to have a family that was loved and cared for, and knew that their parents always unconditionally loved them. And so I just want you to know that you did a great job. And I've never once ever felt that I didn't have you guys as my support system. And I really appreciate it.
All right. Well, Mom.
Oh, I didn't go with my second one. Sorry, we were supposed to do two, right?
Yeah, I kind of
I
threw
apologize.
in. Yeah,
I'm
you
going
got
to
more?
throw in there on top of that that led to me coming to know God and to serve Him with everything I have, because I was shown unconditional love that was directly mirrored from your relationships with God as well, and that led me to know and serve God as well. So thank you for that.
That's good. That's good. So just to clarify, though, did I beat you in that game?
You absolutely destroyed me in that game.
I don't know if I destroyed you, but I still like to win. So I don't know if Josh is actually more competitive than me. It doesn't seem like it. If I had
tried to
lost,
work on that.
if I lost, I would probably be throwing chairs. That's how
There's
intense
no
it is.
well, there's plenty of chairs.
Some
in here,
stools. There's a few chairs here. Well, hey, until next time, don't forget that we are so much better when we're in that love relationship with God. We are so much better as people when we're in deep, rich community and we're living life in God's purpose. Love your mom, love him, and we'll see you next time.
Happy Mother's Day.